Gas prices are jolting high, and it would be wise to fill up your tank sooner than later. The national average price of gasoline is set to skyrocket in August, and prices could rise 5 to 10 cents a gal this month, with an increase of 10 to 25 cents a gallon in some states. This is majorly due to a supply cut, and production is set to face a massive drop. What are the reasons behind the decrease in supply? Let's see. Reports suggest that there is a drop in stockpiles globally, and demand is continuously outstripping supply, which may result in a spike in price in August this year. The rise in prices will aggravate due to the lack of oil supply, with refineries closing down for maintenance and domestic supplies emptying in many states. Let's discuss the reasons one by one. July marked the biggest one-day increase in gas prices, with prices increasing up to $3.75 per gallon, the highest average in 8 months. The after-middle months of 2023 will not give any relief to American drivers, as the prices are expected to surge to the end of 2023. It is expected that the gas price will jolt high, similar to the 2022 inflation peak levels, according to the association's spokesperson, Daniel Armbuster. Both domestic and international producers are slashing production. Experts say that prices will hit a new high of $5 per gallon by this fall. The price of fuel efficiency gas has already increased to $4.5. California's average is the highest in the country, with $4.95 per gallon for regular gas. In countries like Mono, just located outside of Yosemite National Park, the price per gallon has skyrocketed to an eye-popping $6.05 per gallon. Increasing crude oil prices, decreasing gasoline inventories, and strong demand for fuel thanks to a busy summer, forcing retail gas prices even higher. The number one reason for the fluctuations in fuel prices is the oil prices. In July, the cost of 1 barrel of crude oil went to $10, climbing to a 3-month high. Raw crude prices increased by 24 cents per gallon to the price of gasoline and other refined products. All this points towards an upward trend that will last for quite some time. Recently, the price of crude oil has been circling $80 per barrel, up from about $70 per barrel a month ago. Petrol prices often increase in tandem with increases in global oil prices. The third largest oil producer in the world, Russia, announced last month to reduce output beginning in August, which is one of the reasons why oil prices are rising. In light of increased oil demand, analysts at investment bank UBS predict that crude prices will rise by $85 to $90 in the upcoming months. Since October 2022, OPEC Plus has declared significant production cuts from its quota, amounting to daily reductions of more than 5 million barrels. According to Lipau Oil Associates President Andy Lipau, disagreements between the Kurds and the Turkish government have forced the removal of 450,000 barrels per day of Kurdish oil from the market since the end of March. He attributed some of the increase to the heat index. Refineries must reduce their production rates, and that has an impact on the supply of petrol and diesel, Lipau said. In the beginning, refineries boiled the crude oil into various fractions that are then upgraded at a variety of processing units into petrol, jet fuel, and diesel fuel, claims Lipau. That oil will eventually need to be cooled down though. It's harder to cool it down and keep the equipment running properly the hotter it is outside, he said. Heat has also impacted refineries in Greece, Italy, and southern Europe. This implies that less petrol is available to export to the United States when they process less crude oil. Additionally, Lipau brought up the unplanned outages at many refineries in the Gulf, East, and West Coasts, which further reduced supplies. Some refineries also get their electricity from local utilities. The refineries could lose electricity if those utilities go offline, which would have an impact on the supply of petrol and diesel, Lipau continued. According to the Energy Information Administration EIA, demand is rising compared to a year ago, and supply problems don't seem to be getting any better. Data from the EIA show that demand has increased by 3% since last year. Is the spike in gas prices the price we are paying for our environmental policies? As temperatures around the country reach the peak of the summer this week, consumers may need to be prepared to pay extra for a gallon of petrol due to the growing cost of oil and heat-related refinery disruptions. Patrick Dehaan, the head of petroleum analysts at GasBuddy, tweeted that the national average price for a gallon of petrol could climb in late July by 5 to 10 cents, with rises of 10 to 25 cents per gallon in some states. With petrol supplies in July at their lowest since 2015 and several refineries experiencing outages due to the high heat, he continued, "We're primed to see price increases showing up in force this week across the country. We're also seeing a large price increases in Michigan, Indiana, Ohio, Kentucky, and Florida." According to Fox Weather, more than 250 million people are experiencing above average heat from coast to coast as temperatures across the nation are dangerously high, especially in the south and west, and are projected to move up the east coast. Figures from the Energy Information Administration (EIA) show gas consumption increased last week as well, going up slightly from 8.76 to 8.86 million barrels per day. The overall domestic petrol stock fell from 219.5 to 218.4 million barrels in the same period. What is OPEC Plus and how does the organization control prices? The Organization of the Petroleum Exporting Countries Plus, OPEC Plus, is a loosely affiliated entity consisting of 13 OPEC members and 10 of the world's major non-OPEC oil exporting nations. To control the price of oil on the global market, OPEC Plus seeks to control the oil supply. OPEC Plus was created to combat the ability of other countries to produce oil, which may restrict OPEC's power to regulate supply and price. The amount of oil that OPEC Plus members collectively decide to produce directly influences the current ready supply of crude oil on the international market. As a result, OPEC Plus has a significant impact on the price of oil on the world market and, naturally, tends to maintain it as a reasonably high level to maximize profitability. In an apparent effort to drive up prices, Saudi Arabia, Russia, and their oil-producing partners in OPEC Plus recently declared that they would reduce production by more than 1.2 million barrels of petroleum per day, or more than 1% of global supplies. Looks like this move has worked for them and resulted in soaring oil prices in the US. The decision of Saudi Arabia and other OPEC Plus nations to cut down oil production worsened the galloping inflation in the US. Riyadh refused Washington's request to revamp the oil production, and in retaliation, US President Joe Biden threatened Riyadh with unexpected consequences, even threatening its security. According to a Saudi Energy Ministry official, this additional voluntary cut comes to reinforce the precautionary efforts made by OPEC Plus countries to support the stability and balance of oil markets, adding that the cut can be extended or deepened if the situation calls for it. To finance Vision 2030, an ambitious plan to transform the kingdom's economy, lessen its reliance in oil, and generate jobs for young population, the Saudis are especially eager to raise oil prices. Another significant issue is the recent need for unscheduled maintenance at various refineries, including at least one ExxonMobil facility. According to analysts, the severe heat is reducing refinery output and reducing the availability of petrol, diesel, and jet fuel. Drivers can be in a bad spot because demand is high right now during the busy summer travel season. According to Gas Buddy, petrol inventories are at their lowest point for July since 2015. The oil market will see a supply deficit of approximately 1.1 million barrels per day in the second half of this year, according to a warning issued by Bank of America on Wednesday. The bank continues to forecast that Brent oil, the global standard, will average $90 a barrel next year, up from $83 currently. Supply systems face increased vulnerability, potentially leading to massive outages. This is shaping up to be the worst oil crisis of modern times, with catastrophic consequences. If petrol prices continue to rise, they might make matters worse for the economy by reversing inflationary gains and undermining consumer confidence, which is now on the rise. Gasoline price increases are expected to happen faster, with no relief in sight until the end of 2023. How do you think the government is planning to stabilise fuel prices and fill the gap in the supply chain? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks for watching. For more content like this, subscribe to our channel. Goodbye.